everyone. We have a very exciting session today for you. So I hope you're ready to whirl. So if you're not, please make some space around you so that you can actually join and experience today what we have for you. Sipping Thoughts today is very excited to partner with Zorba the Buddha to bring you a session on opening your heart the Sufi way with Gyan Nirupam. In this session, we will be introduced to the practice of zikr, which is primarily a Sufi chanting technique, meaning remembrance. Zikr takes us through different layers of our being and brings us in touch with the beloved within. In this session with Gyan, we will meditate, we will chant, and we will also practice whirling. This practice will help you to open your heart center, tune into love, connect to your being, get into a state of trance to let go, eliminate your fears and build trust, and of course, surrender to the divine. Before we continue, I'd like to introduce you a little bit to Sipping Thoughts. Sipping Thoughts is a multimedia platform that was co-founded by Sukirti Gupta, which is me, and Meeta Gudgutia. It was set up keeping in mind the tagline, Real Women, Real Thoughts. We are a no judgment platform where we want to create a network of women for women and, of course, the men that support us. And one of those, of course, is Ashwin, who is here with us, who is the founder of Zorba the Buddha. Zorba the Buddha is one of the largest open faith spiritual centers in the world, which hosts up to 400 programs in a year. They attract world renowned teachers and international participants from the realms of spirituality, creativity, and social welfare. This village is in close communion with nature, creating a vortex of energy field for its seekers. Zorba the Buddha is a not for profit center situated in the green outskirts of Delhi, and we're hoping it's going to open very, very soon so that we will all be able to visit this oasis. A little bit, of course, about Gyan. He doesn't need any introduction, but I would like to tell you a little bit about him. Gyan facilitates a lot of workshops based on Sufi practices such as zikr, whirling, and Osho meditation techniques, Gurdjieff sacred dances, and self inquiry. He has been facilitating meditation workshops for the last 16 years in India and in many other countries like Spain, Greece, Holland, Croatia, Kenya, Iran, Malaysia, Singapore, Thailand, and China. We're very, very excited to have Gyan with us today. Some do's and don'ts, some house rules. You are all on mute, but we would like to have this session be as interactive as possible. Harika, who is with us, will be moderating the Q&A. So keep chatting. You can send her a message privately, but please do keep sending us your questions and your thoughts. If you're familiar with Zoom, you can also raise your hand. We will be having a Q&A at the end. We would like to unmute you because we would like you to ask your question yourself. But please do keep your questions related to the topic and to the point. And as always, because this is a very interactive session, so please do forgive us for any technology glitches. And with that, we're ready to get started. So I welcome Ashwini and I welcome Gyan to get us rolling on this topic today.
Hello. Hello, Nirupam. I call you Nirupam.
Hi.
Hi.
Yes,
So,
yes.
for so many
Hi.
years, I don't know how many, 10, 15, 20, maybe 30, I don't know. So I met you in Osho Commune, I think, for the first time. And
Yes, yes.
so my first question is that how your spiritual journey has been so far?
So first of all, hello everyone. Welcome for this to this session. And my journey, I don't know, maybe it started with my birth or maybe before that. So I have no idea. But yes, when I came to my, let's say, senses to know about spirituality and so it started in my school time, and then it went on with Osho, and so that's how it started, and it's still going on, and I don't know how long it will go on.
So unless you become enlightened.
Wow, who knows?
So, and what are these Sufi practices?
There are different Sufi practices. Like for today, what we are going to do is, as Sukirti was saying, one is zikr, and another will be whirling. And many of us, we know about the Qawwali music also, which is also a Sufi practice. So music takes us, which is, let's say, spiritual music. So in Sufi, they say music is food for the soul. If the music is really connecting us. So that also is a practice to connect with ourselves. Zikr also is a practice to connect with ourselves. And whirling also is a practice to connect with ourselves.
That's great. And how do these practices help open the heart?
So chanting, actually, the words which we use, which are not created by us, they are traditional. So I can say a little bit about zikr. So zikr is remembrance of divine, and there are 99 zikr. So each zikr has a different meaning. So when we go into the practice, it's basically breathing and being present. So we be present to ourselves. We can call it divine or God, whatever we want to call it. So basically with the zikr, our mind goes into resting, and then the energy drops down into the heart. And that is the way of the Sufi. Same with whirling. So with whirling, when we go into whirling, that also is like dropping the ego. Nafs, what we call it in Sufism. So dropping the ego, letting go of the mind, letting go of the ego. And when we let it go, by itself, energy goes down to the heart, and then the heart starts opening. So that's how it works.
Great. I have seen you do many works in spiritual workshops. And what is your because a lot of your work is on Sufi practices. What draws you towards them?
What draws me to them? It's like I feel myself when I go into this practice. I feel it's me. So as I talk now, I feel already like kind of the energy is kind of moving through my hands when I'm talking. So it just makes me alive. That's how it pulls me to this practice. Yeah.
Yeah, also, I see a lot of times, about using a term beloved, and probably also used in Sufi practices to address the God, the woman or a man you're talking about. Just like in the music, we see when they are singing, they're talking about the divine, but not the beloved, which is in the physical form of a man or a woman. And also they talk about ishq, which is not the ishq, a normal love, which is between man and woman, which is ishq with the divine. So I want to understand a little more. What is the Sufi take on that?
Yeah, ishq. Generally, when we say love in normal way, so it's more about attachment. It's more about like let's say relationship. So can be any kind of relationship with between the family, with your let's say brother, sister, husband, wife, daughter, son, mother, father. So it's more like attachment. We want something in return when we have that kind of love. But in Sufis, they call it ishq. So ishq is divine love. When I don't expect anything in return, that's purity of love. So that is divine love. Ishq means love with God. God is not like something outside. God, which is here and now, in each of us. So when we connect with that space, and that can be ishq with ourselves. So ishq is not normal love. But in Sufi way, ishq is you are so full of love that you just give. You are ready to give. So that kind of experience, divine love. Yeah, it can be between man and woman also. So it's not, love can be between man and woman, and that can be divine. So it's not always uh, attachment, but it can be pure love also.
So what I understand is that when you say ishq, ishq is the love for divine, which means it is not uh, dedicated or diverted to a particular person or a thing. It is with the whole existence,
Yes.
everything, which includes you, others, trees, fish,
Yeah.
mosquito, anything which with everything on the universe.
Mm.
And so, what do you say on that?
Sorry, I did not get what you wanted to ask. I thought I already answered, but something else.
Okay, so now I'll go to one. There has been a lot of resurgence of Sufism in India, about especially with the music, and um, and the other side is it's linked to Islam. So
Mm.
people are afraid in other countries, especially Western countries, even in India. So is Sufi saints are different than Islam practices or traditional Islam?
Actually, Sufi, as per my understanding, as per my feeling, is not a religion. It's a way. It's a tariqa. It's a path. Like Zen is a path. Buddhism is a path, or you can call Hinduism also a path. So it's not a religion. Yes, the chanting is coming from Islam, which we use, the zikr. But it's not kind of, we don't make a boundary that we should be of some particular religion to practice the zikr or to practice Sufism. Sufism was always existing. So it didn't come after the religion. It was already there. So anybody who was practicing love, who was practicing, let's say, wanted to reach divine through love, is a Sufi. So it can belong to any religion, can be Hindu, can be Christian, can be Sikh. So yeah, that is my understanding. So Sufi includes everything. They don't make a boundary for that. Okay, if you are not from that religion, you cannot join the gathering. So they welcome all. It's a path of love.
Great. There, as you said, there are 99 names of God or love. So, have you increased that list from 99 to 199?
Huh? What?
So, I know that there are 99 names of Allah. And
Yeah.
so, have you created some new names?
No, it's not my, I don't change anything. I use what is coming from the tradition, and so I'm nobody to change these things. They are traditional, and I just go into practice of that, and I feel that is enough. I don't have to create something new.
Once I was working with a master in his program, Vidyas, and then we were doing zikr, and it was for 3 days or 5 days program. And one day he started using a zikr with Coca-Cola, and we had the same effect. And it was so then I realized that what so sounds matter, but also even the Coca-Cola worked for me or for everybody else. You want to say something on that?
No, I don't want to say anything on that.
Great. So thank you for being with us. And now the spotlight is on you. So we want to see some magic from Nirupam's world.
Okay. So before we go into the practice of zikr, if you can just close your eyes for a moment. And just see how you feel right now. Where's your attention? Is there any thought going on in your mind? Or if you are present to your body, and if you are present to your body, which part you are connected with in this moment? And if you can connect with your breathing, and just see how is your breath right now. So no need to do anything, no need to change, just watching, becoming aware of it. Allowing yourself to be in the present moment, here and now. Letting go of all the thoughts. So you don't have to resist or fight with it, but just bring your energy to your body, to your breathing. And if you can breathe deep down to your belly without forcing yourself. And at the same time, if you can be aware of the sound you can hear in this moment, my voice, or any other sound around you. So awareness little bit expands inside and outside at the same time. So including everything in your awareness in this moment. And see how is your breathing right now. Maybe it is more relaxed than before. And how is your body? If there is any tension in your body, just relax that part consciously, bringing your awareness to that part of the body. And slowly you can open your eyes. So we are going to the practice of zikr. As we are talking, there are 99 names of God or 99 names of Allah, whatever you want to call it. So first of all, I make it clear again that it's not a religious practice. Meaning of zikr is remembrance of divine. Divine, which is always there, always present. So it's not something outside. It is something inside. So when we connect with ourselves, when we connect with our being, when we connect with our heart, we can experience the divine. So most of the time it doesn't happen because we are, let's say, our energy is most of the time in the mind. So mind is the active part, and we are not able to connect with our being, with our heart, with ourselves. So the zikr helps us to go within, to connect with ourselves, as I was saying, to experience the heart opening. Basically, it's breathing. Breathing in, breathing out, and with each breath, we are present. We are there. So the breath helps us to be there, to be present. It doesn't let the mind take over. Breath is life, prana, as we say. So breathing in, breathing out, and the first zikr we are going to do is Astaghfirullah. So when we do the zikr, I'm not able to see anyone, so I'm just seeing myself on the screen. So I assume you are able to see me and you are able to hear me. And when we go into the zikr, we all go together into the zikr. So first, I will show it to you how we do it, and then we all go together into the zikr. And after a while, I will stop the zikr, and then we all stop also. And then I will, let's say, guide you what we do next. So the first zikr is Astaghfirullah. And the meaning of the zikr is forgiveness. So anything like you want to put your hands on your heart, you can. Or if you want to put your hands on your belly or on your hara center is like approximately 2 inches below your navel center. So if you want to put your hands there, you can do that. Or on your heart, you can do that. Your eyes can be open or closed. And you let your body move with the zikr. So you don't hold your body, you don't kind of become like a stone. You melt into the zikr. You allow the zikr to happen. So in the beginning, when we do the practice, when we go into the practice, let's say we do it, but slowly, let the zikr take over. So you are not doing it anymore, but you become the zikr. Zikr takes over. So let's start. Astaghfirullah, forgiveness. Astaghfirullah, 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 astaghfirullah. Ooh. So you can keep your eyes closed for a moment. And just watch, like go in yourself, watch your breathing, see how is your heart center in this moment. Keeping your heart, hands on your heart. And slowly you can open your eyes. So when we ended the zikr of Astaghfirullah, I used one more zikr, which was who. Who. Many of you may be aware of this word who. So who is also a zikr, which means ever present. The divine, the energy, which is always present. So when we, let's say, complete the zikr, we use this sound just to recognize that, okay, I am here, I am present. The divine is present. Next zikr we are going to do is La ilaha illallah. And the meaning of this zikr is there is no God but God. And some people, they say, they use this like there is no God but Allah. So whatever you feel connected with. So there is no God but God. Generally, when we do the zikr, we are doing it, let's say, live, sitting together, holding hands, and being in the circle. So then we feel the energy of each other. Zikr is, Sufis are like, this is a meeting of brotherhood. So we meet, we share love, we evoke love. So we can feel the presence of our heart. We can feel the presence of other people's heart also. So it's not that I'm alone on this path. We are all together. We create the energy. We create the energy of love. La ilaha illallah. And to do this zikr, there can be many different ways to do this zikr, any zikr. So this is not the only way what I show to you. Yeah. So maybe somewhere else you see a different way of doing the zikr, but zikr will be same. Movement can be different. So this zikr, to do this for now, let's say we hug ourselves. And with the movement will be with La ilaha, we will be moving our neck to the left side, illallah to the right side. So some people, they do it to the right and to the left. So which is also fine. And again, we let our body move. We are like, allowing ourselves to go deep into the zikr. So allow yourself. La ilaha illallah. There is no God but God. Taking a deep breath, being present to yourself, being present to the divine. And you sing with me. We all go together. La ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah. illallah. La ilaha 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 illallah. illallah, la ilaha 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 illallah. La ilaha illallah, 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 illallah, la ilaha 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 illallah, illallah, la ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah. You can close your eyes for a moment, and if you feel like, keep your position like hugging yourself and becoming one with yourself, with the divine. Or you can put your hands on your heart if you feel like, whatever is comfortable for you right now. And slowly you can open your eyes. I'm not aware of the time, so if anyone from the team can guide me just
It's 5:30
about the time.
So we have another, it's 5:34. We have another 12, 15 minutes for the practice before we go into Q&A. We have another, yeah, 15 minutes.
Yeah, 15 minutes before we.
Okay, so yeah. So yes, the zikr, as I said, generally we do it together in the gathering, in the meeting, but now we are using the, let's say, technology to connect and to feel this, to really feel it. So as we don't have so much time, and I would like to take you into whirling also. So for the zikr, we stop here, and then I will introduce you into whirling. And then together we will go into whirling also. So another practice in the way of the Sufi is whirling. Maybe you have seen, some of you, people whirling, turning, and in Sufi way, whirling is to connect with the divine. It's not just a dance. So some people get attracted to it because it looks beautiful. Yes, it looks beautiful. It's like when somebody is connected, you can feel it. You can feel the beauty when somebody is really connected. So when you see somebody whirling and the person is like lost, gone, and connected with the divine, connected with the self in that moment, not self as an ego, but self as a truth. So you can feel that vibration, that energy, and you also feel like, wow, you also go into meditation just by watching it, just by seeing it. It's same like as I was talking about the music before, same with the music. If we hear some really good music, can be of any form. It doesn't need let's say language, just the instrument. And with that, let's say music, we feel like, wow, this is it. And that moment can give us the experience of the truth. We just lose our mind in that moment. The mind is not there anymore. We just be present. We can really connect with our heart, with that music. So music also like the power, the divine. So when we whirl, whirling helps us to let go of the mind, to connect with our heart center. And whirling comes from Rumi. So if you don't know about Rumi, just maybe a little introduction about Rumi. Rumi was a mystic, a Sufi master, a Sufi poet, who was born somewhere in Afghanistan, Balkh, but that time it was Iran. So he was born there. And then he lived his life in Konya in Turkey, and he died there also. So there's a story about how it started. So he was passing through a market in Konya, and while he was walking, he heard the sound of goldsmith beating the gold in the market. So with that sound of beating, he felt like, oh, the connection, the divine sound. He just felt it like this. And with that sound, he started whirling in the marketplace, in the middle of the market. So he started turning and turning and turning, and he was just gone. So the story says he was whirling for 36 hours non-stop. He just let go of the mind, let go of the ego, just being present. And then after 36 hours, the story says he fell down. So he fell down, and then people were gathered around him till that time, thought he has gone crazy. So they started laughing. Oh, what happened to him? He fell down finally. And then he got up. So he got up, he was laughing. So then somebody asked from the crowd, oh, what happened? Why you are laughing? We were laughing because we saw you falling. But why you are laughing? And then he said, I'm laughing because I saw myself falling. So in that moment, the story says that was his moment of enlightenment. He saw himself falling. He saw himself letting go of the ego, letting go of the mind, letting go of the control. So whirling teaches us to let go of the control. So how we lose control? We turn and turn and turn, And then slowly, mind starts losing its control and we connect with the heart center. So there's a kind of ritual to enter into whirling, and I will show it to you. So I have to stand for this. So I hope you can see me. So you see my feet? Yeah, I will show it to you when I have to. Yeah. So first, we hug ourselves. So you can stand if you want to. Otherwise, you can just sit also if you don't feel like whirling. And just by sitting, you can let your body move. Yeah. So first we hug ourselves, which means becoming one with the universe. And then you can kiss. So it's like loving yourself, being present to yourself. And then you cover your left toe with the right toe, which means surrender, letting go. So there's a story behind this, but I'm not going to tell that story now because we don't have much time. Maybe if we have another session, I will do that. And then we bow down. And when we bow down, we breathe out. So bowing down means bowing down in gratitude. And when we breathe out, it simply means we empty ourselves. And then slowly coming up, we breathe in again. So if you stay for a while down, you don't have to stop breathing. You keep breathing. When you come up, breathe in again. And then we start whirling. So whirling can be in any direction, but Mevlevi tradition, Mevlevi comes from Rumi. His name was Mevlana, so Mevlana becomes Mevlevi. So Mevlevi tradition, whirling is on the left side, but some people whirl on the right side, which is also fine. So if you whirl on the left side, you take your left foot out first, and then right is following, is supporting your turn. Yeah, and you're turning at one spot. So you become aware of your body. So after a few cycles, your both hands are coming down through your heart center, then going down to the Hara center, then going up again. And you really, like you touch your face, you caress your face, and you open. So right hand is following, facing up to the sky. Left hand is facing down to the earth. So, which means we receive energy from the sky and we give it to the earth. We don't hold any. And you keep whirling. Eyes are open, but you don't focus on anything outside. So if you focus on something, any object outside, you will feel dizzy. So focus is inside. Whirling is meditation for sensing and awareness. So while body is turning, your consciousness is still. You're present. You're present in the moment. You keep watching what is happening. So your energy is not out, but in. Yeah. So you keep whirling. You can focus on your breathing. You can focus on your belly. You can focus on your heart. So it just helps you to connect with yourself, and you keep whirling. And the speed doesn't matter. It can be slow, it can be fast. Basically, you just let go. So be careful. You have enough space for turning. Yeah, you don't hurt yourself. Please take care of yourself. And if you cannot do it standing, you can do it just sitting, hugging yourself, and let the body turn. Rohit, if you can play music, please. So we will start whirling, everybody, with the music. It will be around maybe 5-6 And slowly, you can come to a stop. You can close your eyes. If you want to sit down, you can sit down. Even if you want to lie down, you can lie down. And just be present to yourself. Connecting with your heart center. See how it feels right now. Maybe your heart is more alive than before. Or you can say it's open than before. You can feel it. You can feel the love inside. Love to yourself. Love for others. Love for your family. Love for your friends. Love for existence. Yes, ishq. Ishq. And just take a deep breath. And you can open your eyes if your eyes are closed. Maybe a smile. Yeah, when we connect with our heart, the heart is smiling. So now it is time for some Q&A, official way. Maybe the questions are dissolved, or maybe the more questions are there now. So let's see what comes.
So I think there's one question that has come up right away. Sukirti, why don't you ask that question?
My question was, of course, I tried to do it, and maybe it's the first time. So I felt dizzy. I know you said to kind of reflect, don't focus on anything.
Yeah.
But after a few minutes, definitely there was a feeling of dizziness, so I had to sit down.
Yeah, there can be different reasons for dizziness. And the first one is control. The main reason for dizziness is control. So, as we grow up, we start controlling things. And while whirling, we can see ourselves. Actually, we can see our personality. Okay, I am this person right now. So I don't know what it is for you, but if you can look inside, maybe it's control, or maybe it's like you are looking at the, with open eyes at the object around you. So could be anything. Yeah, but main reason is control, that we stop breathing in that moment, and then we start feeling dizzy, and maybe the fear can come also, and the fear can be of hurting yourself, or what will happen if I fall, or if I hurt myself. So then with that control, the mind comes. And with that mind, as suddenly we go away from ourselves while whirling, we go into the mind. And when we disconnect from ourselves in that moment, dizziness can happen. So there can be different reasons. Yeah.
I'd like to invite Bhavishya. Bhavishya, you want to ask your question? You can unmute yourself. Or maybe I can ask Bhavishya's question. The question is, are there any specific tips for beginners, Nirupam?
For whirling?
Yeah.
Sorry.
All right. Yeah, Bhavishya's here, so let her answer her question. Ask her question. Go ahead.
Thank you so much for a wonderful session. I am new to this practice, and I would like to know that how, as a beginner, I should go for this. Like, let's say meditation, they usually say that do it for 5 minutes and continue it for 40 days. So, how would you would like to suggest for the beginners?
You mean for whirling? Your question is for whirling? Hello?
I think Bhavishya's question is general because she began with meditation. So,
okay.
So for general to get into the practice, so to say.
Yeah, any practice you do, I would say, if you have started for 5 minutes, I don't know what is your practice, so I cannot really comment. But yes, in general, if you start something, if you continue, let's say at least for 1 month, then you will see the result. You will start seeing the difference. At least, they say it takes 3 weeks to the body to adopt something new. So then you start seeing the results. Then you start seeing the changes, the effect of what you do. So at least continue for 21 days minimum, whatever you're doing. I don't know what you do. So yeah, my suggestion is that. And then you will start seeing the effect of whatever you're doing. Yeah.
So Nirupam, if she wants to do whirling on her own, how long should she do every day and for how many days?
There is no limit for how many days. I will not say. I mean, it's on the feeling. Like, how do you feel? So it's not that you push yourself to do it. So we don't make it like a ritual. That okay, I have to do this every day, even I don't want to do it. So it should come from your heart. And then, as Ashwin asked, so how she can do it? She can put any kind of music she likes, whatever makes her feel her energy to, move. And for 5 minutes, for 10 minutes, for half an hour, for 1 hour, people go for many, many hours. So there is no time limit for this. It's all upon your feeling. How do you feel it? And it's again, it takes you into the moment of divine, the moment of trance. So you start whirling, but slowly, you're not whirling. The whirling is happening to you. You are not there anymore. So whirling takes over, then you don't know how to stop it. So, yes. Then you have to find a way to, shall I stop? Or so
I'm going to ask, thank you so much for that. And like you're rightly saying, it just takes over. You just get you're no longer existing. You just become one with everything else. I think that's what.
And that is meditation.
Yes. I'm going to ask Raksha to ask her question. Raksha, go ahead. Raksha, you're unmuted. You can ask your question. Okay, let me ask it for her. She's asked, how can we do this whirling meditation directly after our basic chanting, or is the zikr a prerequisite?
No, it's not prerequisite. You can do it anytime you want without anything before doing. Just you have to be sure your stomach is not full. So your stomach is empty at least like maybe for 2-3 hours. After experience, no problem. Then you can whirl maybe after eating half an hour. But as a beginner, I will suggest your stomach should be empty, so you don't, start feeling kind of nausea and vomiting.
So I want to add that when, say, if I'm doing the whirling practice for 30 minutes, and then should I also, after 30 minutes, lie down, eyes closed, to be with myself, to integrate the experience? What do you say on
Yes, yes, it is. It's not necessary. It's not compulsory, but it is a very good way to, when we whirl, energy is kind of building up. Energy is moving. So it's like turning. It's not only outside, but inside also energy starts moving. And when we stop whirling, the energy is still moving. So it doesn't stop with the body anymore. So it's still moving inside. So in that moment, when we stop, there are different ways to, gather yourself, let's say, to be coming back inside to yourself. So the one way is you can lie down on your belly and close your eyes. And just be there. So just be there and watch what is happening in that moment. So basically, you connect with the earth in that moment when you are lying down on your belly. So you let go everything, you dissolve in the earth. You become one with the earth. So that is one way of ending the whirling. Another way, you can sit if you cannot lie down. If it is not comfortable for you, you can sit down and close your eyes and let the energy, slowly settle. So it's good, like if you whirl for half an hour, I would say at least for 10 minutes, you lie down or you just sit.
Well, thank you. That was amazing. We are also would love to get your feedback, but as always, we always run out of time. So many more questions. I'd like Ashwin to thank our guests.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. We loved your program.
Okay. I wanted to actually read something from Rumi before we finish.
Sure, please.
You?
Yes. Yes, can I?
Yes.
Please, go ahead, please.
Okay. So there's a poem from Rumi. The title of the poem is The Guest House. This being human is a guest house. Every morning, a new arrival. A joy, a depression, a meanness, some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all. Even if they are a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house empty of its furniture, still treat each guest honorably. He may be clearing you out for some new delight. The dark thought, the shame, the malice, meet them at the door laughing and invite them in. Be grateful for whoever comes because each has been sent as a guide from beyond. Your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you have built against it. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Nirupam.
Thank you so much.
Extremely enlightening, amazing session. Thank you, Ashwin, once again, for bringing us such amazing thoughts and ideas. And Harika, fantastic job again moderating the Q&A. We apologize if we did not get to your question. And we thank everyone for joining us on this wonderful Saturday evening. Thank you and good night.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.